Hi all, welcome to LearnStroke IAS. Decarbonizing planet Earth is one of the major goals that countries across the globe has set for 2050. Decarbonizing the production of hydrogen, thus giving rise to green hydrogen, is a major step in this direction. So today, let's try to know more about what green hydrogen is all about. International Energy Agency, the IEA, has predicted that global energy demand would rise somewhere between 25% to 30% by 2040. This clearly implies that an economy that is increasingly dependent on coal and petroleum would definitely contribute massively to ecological damage by accelerating the process of climate change. A colorless, odorless, tasteless, non-toxic, and highly combustible gaseous substance, hydrogen is definitely one of the lightest, simplest, and the most abundant element on planet Earth. But the color green prefixed to green hydrogen makes it the fuel of the future. Green hydrogen is produced using the process of electrolysis, in which hydrogen is produced, whereas the only byproduct is oxygen, which is released into the atmosphere without any harm. So this process in fact produces no greenhouse gas during the process of production. When green hydrogen becomes the fuel of the future, it could definitely save the 830 million tons of carbon dioxide that is released into the atmosphere when hydrogen is produced using fossil fuels. The process of electrolysis in the production of green hydrogen is done using solar, wind, or tidal energy. So this is one major advantage where the renewable sources of energy power this process. There are other forms of hydrogen like blue, grey, yellow, or even pink. The name is given to hydrogen depending upon the process of production. Hydrogen is not new as far as the industrial sector is considered. Hydrogen has been used as old as 19th century to fuel cars, airships, and even spacecrafts. So now let's check out what are the major advantages of green hydrogen. First and foremost, it is highly sustainable, which means that it does not emit any greenhouse gas either during the process of combustion or even production. Secondly, green hydrogen is storable. That is, you need not exhaust it immediately after production, and it can be safely stored for longer periods of time. Versatility is another major advantage. That is, it can be converted into electricity or can be used as synthetic gas, which means the uses of green hydrogen are immense. It can be used for domestic, industrial, commercial, or even in the mobility sector. Another major advantage is that as far as the transportation of green hydrogen is concerned, it can be mixed with natural gas at ratios of up to 20%, and it can travel through the same gas pipes in which natural gas travels. So these are some of the major advantages as far as green hydrogen was concerned. Like any other aspect, green hydrogen too has got its own set of disadvantages too. Now, let's try to examine what are the disadvantages as far as green hydrogen is concerned. First and foremost, the production of green hydrogen is highly expensive at the time being. So various researches are happening across the globe to find out alternatives in which green hydrogen can be produced at a lower cost. Secondly, hydrogen is highly volatile and flammable. So various aspects regarding the storage of green hydrogen is of utmost concern. So the last disadvantage is that the production of green hydrogen requires massive energy. Now let's try to examine how important is green hydrogen in Indian economy. As you all know, India is the world's third largest emitter of carbon dioxide. Isn't it an issue of serious concern? This was the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during the last Independence Day, announced the green hydrogen policy. And it was his ambition to make India the world's largest exporter of green hydrogen by producing 5 million tons annually with a target of 2030. And hence, the green hydrogen policy too was unveiled during February this year. I think in newspapers, you all might have seen pictures of Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari, who reached Parliament in a green hydrogen powered car. He is an advocate of alternative fuels, and by traveling in a green hydrogen powered car to the Parliament, he has sent a strong message to the country on how important green hydrogen, which is the fuel of the future. Amitabh Kant, the CEO of Niti Aayog, has strongly emphasized that with the prevailing climatic conditions, India has a greater advantage of becoming the world's largest producer of green hydrogen. At the World Economic Forum at Davos in Switzerland, Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri has stressed that India is planning to emerge as the world leader in green hydrogen production, taking into account the global energy crisis. India has just begun to surge ahead in the production of energy using non-fossil fuels with a target of 500 gigawatts by 2030. So it is in this direction that India has set up the first pilot project which produce green hydrogen with 99.99% purity in eastern Assam's Duliajan. A special blender has also been installed with the purpose of mixing green hydrogen along with natural gas produced by Assam Gas Corporation Limited and supplying it to areas near the Jorhat area of Assam and using the fuel for both domestic as well as industrial purposes. Under the Paris Agreement of 2015, a legally binding international treaty on climate change with a goal of limiting global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels, India is certainly committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emissions by 33 to 35% from the 2005 levels. Again, at the 2021 Conference of Parties in Glasgow, India reiterated its commitment to move from a fossil and import-dependent economy to a net zero economy by 2070. It is alarming that India's average annual energy import bill is more than $100 billion, and the increased consumption of fossil fuel has made the country a high carbon dioxide emitter, accounting for nearly 7% of global carbon dioxide burden. In order to become energy independent by 2047, the government stressed the need to introduce green hydrogen as an alternative fuel that can make India the global hub and a major exporter of hydrogen. So if we closely examine the impact of green hydrogen globally, green hydrogen is already a popular fuel in developed countries like USA, Russia, China, etc. Japan is ambitious to transform itself into a hydrogen-fueled economy. So the real task ahead of India is to take advantage of the situation and become a global leader in green hydrogen manufacture by manufacturing hydrogen at the least operational cost. So I think we have discussed almost all the major dimensions of green hydrogen. We all have an important role to play in the greener initiatives that India takes. So next time you see a green hydrogen fueled car, make sure that you remember this session. Thank you.